Test, test. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Almost afternoon. Want to welcome you to our 2023 Carolinas LGBT Chamber of Commerce Lunch and Learn series, which is powered by Bank of America. We're very gracious for Bank of America's support in allowing us to bring these educational events to you each month of the year. My name is Jason Morton, and I am the Vice Chair of Internal Affairs with the Carolinas LGBT Chamber of Commerce, as well as one of the co-chairs for the Education and Programming Committee. We appreciate all of you coming out to today's event, which is entitled Business 911, a Problem-Solving Town Hall. We hope you have lots of questions. The goal of today's event was to kind of be like that hotline in November when you are trying to cook your turkey and you're like, how do I get my turkey to brown? Let me call Butterball. So this is kind of the same thing. So some of you may have some problems in your business and you're curious, how do you solve them? And so that is the goal of today's session. We have 5 great minds and business owners up here to hopefully solve those problems that you're having. So I'm going to start off, and we're going to get to know our panelists up here who's going to be speaking with you today. So I'll introduce them, and then I'm going to let them tell us a little bit about who they are, how long they've been in business, what they do, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to start with the lady to my right. That is Nikki Pounds. She's the owner and HR consultant of HR Unequivocally, and she is representing today the Women's Business Center of Charlotte. So.
Good morning, everyone. Again, I am Nikki Pounds. I'm the owner of HR Unequivocally, and what we do is partner with small to mid-sized businesses to build their HR infrastructure. So we specialize in everything HR and HR adjacent. We also specialize in organizational design and leadership development, as well as building DEI strategic plans for larger organizations. HR Unequivocally was founded in 2018, but my background is in human resources, so I've been in that space for about 26 years in corporate HR. So if you have any questions about talent management, talent attraction, and retention, then our company would be the company that you would want to partner with.
Thank you, Nikki. To her right, we have Div Bengradia. He is the owner of Fast Signs in Mooresville and Lake Norman, and he's representing the Carolinas Asian American Chamber of Commerce. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Div.
Great, thanks for having me. My name is Div Bengradia with Fast Sign Mooresville. Started that company in 2017. It's been great. We do interior exterior signage. We help with brand new construction, rebrands, even realtors. So if you need any signage, let me know.
Thank you. On our right side of the stage over here, we're going to start with Anita Stanton. She's the Chief Executive Officer of Miles Enterprise Solutions, and she's representing our Carolinas LGBT Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning, everyone. My name, as he shared, Anita Staten. Miles Enterprise Solutions, we focus on making lives better, and we do that through digital automation and technology. We will be celebrating 10 years this November. We started the company in 2013. We serve primarily enterprise space, providing enterprise resource planning, help desk support, and supportive services. And then we also provide education and training for small to mid-sized businesses. Look forward to chatting with you all more today.
Next up, we have Sierra Stanford. She has an MBA, and she's an accountant and bookkeeper. And with her company, Money Talks in Style, she's representing today the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Black Chamber of Commerce.
Hello, everybody. As he said, my name is Sierra Stanford. I actually have another company called Entity Financial Group, and I just started Money Talks in Style to marry it with my personal styling business, because that's what most people know me for in Charlotte. So I called it Money Talks in Style because when you talk to me, I'm gonna probably be dressed like this. But yeah, it's like to help small businesses understand profitability and dig into those small parts that you don't pay attention to that could be affecting you, making your bottom line look as best as it could. And I have been in the accounting and finance space for about 15 years. I have a degree in accounting as well, so I just figured why not look good talking about money? So that's why it's called Money Talks and Style.
Absolutely. And lastly, to round out our panel, we have Maxine Serrano. She's the CEO and founder of the Inbox Chick, and she's representing today the Latin American Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. I'm super nervous, but we'll get through it. So I started my business during the pandemic. It's called the Inbox Chick, where we help business owners get out of their email inbox, helping them with all the many tasks that it takes to run a small business, right? So I started the business. I was laid off from my job during the pandemic, like many of us were, and decided to start this business from scratch and started taking the steps to build it. And it was definitely a learning process and still learning. But it's the best decision I ever made in my life. I almost wish that I would have done it sooner. Worked in corporate for most of my career, changed over from doing events and started this virtual assistant business. And I have a small team of 2 other ladies that help me to support small business owners. So it's definitely an honor. I've only been in business, it's a baby business, for 3 years. And I'm super honored to be here and would love to share all of the things I learned over these past 3 years for other small business owners. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'm sure anyone would agree, if you can start a business during a pandemic and be here 3 years later, you can probably go through anything at this point. So as I mentioned, I'm going to go a little bit about our format today. The goal today is to take questions from the audience for those who are looking to find a solution to a problem or issue they're having in your business. Additionally, if there are some other business-related questions you'd like to ask, we'll find some time to have those answered as well towards the end, time permitting. So if you have a question you'd like to ask through today's session, you can raise your hand, and Mel will bring the mic around to present your question. It's very important that we obviously have that mic so people that are listening via our YouTube channel, they can hear the question being asked. Also, if you'd just rather ask your question anonymously, that's okay. There are some index cards on your table. If you want to hold it up, Mel will get that question and get it to me so that we can have that answered. So, does anyone have a question they'd like to present to our panel? And if not, I will come up with, I have some questions, but today is to benefit you. Awesome. All right.
Here I come.
And if you want to introduce yourself, if you have a business or anything like that, just so the panelists can get an idea of who they're talking to, please feel free to do so.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rocio Gonzalez. I am the Executive Director of the Women's Business Center of Charlotte. My question, I think, could be answered by each and every one of you. Typically, we have a lot of small businesses that come to us asking us, what do you think is the quickest or easiest or best way when I'm thinking about adding a person? I need more help, and I need to hire another person. And they don't know whether they should hire an employee or an independent contractor or what type of support they would need. So with your field, how would you provide some insight on what could be a good way to transition onto that? Thank you.
I'll start. So this is a question that we often get asked. Sometimes we get asked this question a little bit too late, when someone has already hired people into their business and they've not really thought about whether this person should be classified as a contractor or as an employee. And so the advice that I always give is to partner with your CPA or whoever is helping you with your finances to decide what you can afford, first of all, because it's really nice and sexy when you have a business to add people into the business, but if you can't afford the people in the business, then it's going to be detrimental for you and them in the long run. And so understanding all of the tax implications that go along with hiring an employee versus having a contractor are very, very important. And you don't want to hire an employee and classify them as a contractor, and then that could also get you in trouble. So definitely partner with your CPA or whoever's handling your finances to really understand what you can afford, and then find out how that person is going to be working in your business, or decide how that person's going to be working in your business, and then classify them in the right way as a contractor if they are a contractor, or as an employee if they really are an employee. And that's a longer conversation that we could have. So if somebody's in that situation, please feel free to talk to me afterwards, and we can talk through what an employee versus a contractor and what that looks like. But you just don't want to get that wrong.
And then I'll piggyback on what she just said, like about talking to a CPA or an accountant. You want to talk to them and, have your financials and like run some type of scenarios to see what it would look like if you added a person, and if you can like financially afford to do that. So you'll be able to see both scenarios and see if there's any added benefit by adding that person. So if it doesn't look like there's an added benefit, then that's your answer right there. So just have them run those scenarios to talk about what they'll be doing to add benefits to your company, if it's like going to increase your profitability and if it makes financial sense.
I'd also like to share, as a small business owner, I think in the beginning when you're so small, a lot of times when you're starting, it's asking friends and family that maybe there's a task or things that they can help you with your business, and it's not necessarily hiring someone full-time. And a lot of time it could be helping a family member that just needs to make a few dollars, and not just that, then they're helping you in your business, and you can excel and build your business, and then get it to a point where you're hiring someone part-time or full-time. And I also agree with both of the ladies, like, checking with your CPA, seeing what you can afford, and also looking at whether you want to bring them on as a full-time employee, because then you're offering benefits and things like that, and what the cost is going to be for your business, but also part-time, where they can be, just self-contracted and you're just using them for whatever the services are. Our business is ideal for that, for small business owners, because they're bringing us on not to sit in their office full-time and pay us benefits. They're bringing us on to help them with a specific task, or maybe just even a project. We have clients that we bring on where maybe there's a busy month or a busy season for them, and they just need extra hands. They don't necessarily need a full-time person. That's where the Inbox Chick is a perfect fit for small business owners, so something to keep in mind. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to share some of the services that we can help businesses with.
Just want to add, from a management consulting and technology perspective, we do two things. Of course, we consult those around us that are professionals in the industry, but we also do a pre-vetting ourselves, and that entails taking a look at the 10 requirements that dictates whether an individual is classified as a 1099 contractor versus a W-2 employee. So we take the IRS approach, and we're going to check and make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's by using that 10-step process. Number two, we take a zero-based approach. And what I mean by that is that we're a project-based company, so we hire when we have a need on a project. And that way, we know the project is funded. We know the new hire can be funded through the work. So that's the approach we take. We also, as a third, we have a way in timekeeping that we see the tasks that are performed by every single employee. And when we see that the times or the hours being spent in a particular category does not drive revenue, then we take a second approach to say, should we hire someone part-time to support this particular task because it's not driving our bottom line? So I just thought I'd add that as a part of the discussion.
Awesome. Question, another question. All right. On 1 second, she's going to. There we go.
Thank you guys for sharing some of your thoughts. My question for you is, what have you identified as the most effective strategy or approach for enhancing your customer service delivery? In other words, what additional things do you do with your customers just to make them feel like you are providing them with that red carpet or white glove approach where they feel extra special?
I can start with this one. We do a lot of follow-ups, so just making sure, what they need and what they wanted. After the job is done, there's still constant communication with the client. Once the transaction is completed, that shouldn't be, end and done. You should always follow up after, make sure everything's working smoothly, whether it's 6 months, a year from now, and just touch base.
I think I have like a 4-point approach. So especially starting my small business, a lot of times the paperwork, contracts, invoicing, it can get pretty messy. So creating a process that's smooth, so when I'm onboarding a new client, they're getting everything in one email. They're not so much communication back and forth. It's super important to make your communication clear. So finding those programs that work so that the onboarding for your client is clear, that they know your hours, they know how much they're going to be paying, what's the pay schedule, and what's included in your contract should all be something that helps them to feel like, okay, this person knows what they're doing and I feel comfortable with it. The other thing is, again, the communication. And then also, usually when we onboard a new client, we'll send out a handwritten card, just welcoming them, helping them to understand how they can get in touch with us so it's super clear, and sending them a nice little gift of brownies. And then also, with my clients, what we do is during either a work anniversary or their birthday, I will also send out a card and a little gift in the mail and during the holidays, just to help them remember that we appreciate them as a client. And I think those little small touches really helps the client to know that you care, and just keeping that communication with them. It's great to do business with people, but a lot of times it's not just about the money. It's really about the feeling that the client gets when they're working with you, right? They want to know, like, and trust you. And so when you have those factors, it really helps your business to continue to grow. So those little things are super important to me in my business, and I just think it's a great tool to offer the red carpet, definitely.
I think I'm going to throw the opposite of that question, because I had it on a little question to throw out there. So how do you handle a dissatisfied customer in hopes that you will continue to earn their business after maybe something that has gone as a negative?
So I've learned a lot about that, that very thing. When you start your business, everything is not always going to go right. Even if you've been in business for a long time, everything's just not going to go right. And so I have learned the most through the failures that I've had with customers. And so I like to try to get feedback from them about what went wrong. I didn't initially do that because my feelings were hurt, but then I started to realize that I needed to get that feedback, and what I learned from that process was that you can't be everything to everyone, and it doesn't mean that you necessarily did a horrible job. It just means that that's just not the right customer for you, or you're not the right vendor for them. And so getting that feedback and actually taking the feedback to heart and doing something differently the next time is what we do now. So we have those check-in points, like you said before. When you onboard a client, and then throughout the project, if it's a longer-term project, we still build in these touch points. And then when a project is done, whether we're completely done with the project or maybe somebody was dissatisfied one way or another, we still get that same feedback and try to get it every time and have a conversation. So we don't just send out a survey. We actually, with our client engagement specialist, she calls and speaks to the client.
Yeah, I'll add some perspective to that as well. I think Nikki mentioned you don't get everything right? Life happens, things happen, you learn from it and move forward. We're primarily in that government space, so we've got about 85% of our clients that are government agencies. So unfortunately, we make a mistake, it's pretty detrimental. So what we look to do is communicate. We communicate, 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 and communicate. Even when we don't have to, we communicate. And we let them say to us, okay, you don't have to communicate as much, right? And that's when we know we're doing it right. But we communicate the challenge, we position the problem, how we plan to solve it. This is what happened, this is what we're doing, here's our action plan, and then we wait.
All right, we've got a question there that was from the audience.
Yeah, I have an audience question. I think it kind of goes to what you all were just talking about as well. So I'm going to do my best to read this without my glasses on. I have a problem like today that I need to deal with by 3 p.m., so urgency. I have furnished short-term rentals uptown with a corporate lease. We've been dealing with an infestation of flies since March. Pest control has advised the complex that I believe this says caucus, may be in the structure. It has heard our reviews. We have reimbursed customers for inconvenience. Because our reviews dropped, we are at risk of being canceled from our platforms that we market on. This will put us at risk of a substantial amount of projected income from our current bookings this year. The unit was treated yesterday, and this morning the place still showed that there's an infestation. A family checks in at 3, and we want to get ahead of it for the guest. Today we've contacted corporate and have kept a paper trail of this ongoing issue. So I guess I'm not sure exactly what the question there would be, but I mean, as far as finding resources for handling these types of situations and ensuring to what you all were just talking about, how are you making sure that you're doing what you can, but you aren't losing customers at the same time?
I'll take that one on just from a perspective of what I hear. I would, as a business owner, I would find other accommodations for the family that's reporting at 3. And I would advise them and communicate that we have found an alternative that is substantially, I would look for something that may be a step above what you're providing, because you want them to provide a review to state that maybe there was a problem, but you found the solution. It's all about solution-based thinking. That would be my approach. I'm not in that industry, that's not what I do, but from a business owner perspective, I would consider that. Find those accommodations quickly.
I would agree with her for sure. You can't fix the problem at 3 o'clock today. With I don't know how long the infestation's been going on, but the suggestion would be to go back to your lease, go back to whoever owns the building, figure out the underlying problem. If you're supposed to be responsible for that infestation, then get somebody out there, a different company, or whoever can fix the problem going forward, long term. But today's situation, try to relocate them and move forward from it. Better to resolve the issue with the client than to have them complain about it in the future. So.
Now, based on what you said, is this like a rental property that they're leasing, or?
Yes, I think it was a corporate short-term rental. So maybe not necessarily a long-term lease in play, but maybe a couple weeks and things like that.
Well, it sounds like it's negative on both sides. So, I mean, if I was them, I would probably just shut it down, because no one wants to be in a corporate short-term rental with an infestation of flies, and then it's just negative. So from a profitability perspective, I could just see that I don't know, they would need to read contracts and talk to whoever owns the building or something, because they're losing money. Someone could get sued. That's where I see it going. It sounds like the person that owns the or that is running that corporate short-term rental is going to be losing money, and the person that owns the building is not doing anything about it. So if they're not upholding their part of the contract, if they have one in place, which I'm sure they do, they may need to take some legal action. especially if there is nothing changing.
Anyone else have anything to add?
I mean, this is just in business, you know, if you are in business, it's good to have a network of people. It's super important. In this situation, it would be great if they knew of a pest control person or, you know, things like that. It may not be resolved today, but if you have a network of people that you know of, could really help you. So I always tell people, network or die. Like if you're in business and you're trying to do it on your own and you don't have a network to support you, it's really hard to run a business like that. So it's good to have a group of people, pest control, you know, an attorney, a CPA, you know, those are all super important people to have a good business relationship with.
Yeah, I would, you know, I'm in real estate myself, so I would say if, you know, obviously there are some other bookings going forward, if there's a way to, you know, maybe put a pause on those or find some other accommodations, if there's enough time in advance for those to make a change, so then they can, you know, find alternatives. Definitely seek a solution on that, getting, you know, multiple opinions with the, you know, different companies to see what the issue is. Is it your responsibility? Is it the building's responsibility? And then, you know, you've done the right thing of documenting everything, which is good. You know, if anyone asked, you know, what was done, it seems like you've been very proactive. But I'm wondering if there's another platform for a fresh start once the resolution is taken care of, in terms of getting that listing back out there, not having the negativity that's on there at the moment. Or, you know, if you have, you know, yeah, that's probably the biggest thing I would say. And then for the immediate solution, definitely makes sense. So at least hopefully you get a positive review from those guests today. And just kind of state you've been trying to work on this, you know, since we've, you know, been very proactive, but we thought it would be resolved, and it's not the case. So we want to do this. Great question. Might have stumped our panel slightly. So we've got another one.
This question is from online. I believe it's from our YouTube channel. Would your CPA be the person to consult about adding benefits for your existing or new employee?
Okay.
Go first.
Okay. And the question was, should you consult your CPA
Yes,
about
would
adding
that be the
benefits?
person to consult?
So absolutely, yes, and CPA, because you have to understand the costs associated with adding benefits. Your CPA might not be the expert on how to structure the benefits, though. And so I would say contact an HR consultant to help with structuring benefits, to understand what is required when you are ready to offer benefits. And all benefits don't have to be the exact same. So you can offer benefits through some companies like Colonial Life, for instance, where it's a benefit for employees that you offer, and as the employer, you're not required to contribute to the premium for those benefits. With health insurance, if you're offering health, vision, dental, things like that, then you would want to, you're gonna have to contribute based on, you know, laws. And so understanding, again, what you can afford. So it's a yes and question, CPA for what you can afford for the long term, and with an HR partner to ensure that you're offering the benefits appropriately for yourself and for your staff.
I was going to say, ask Nikki.
Thank you, Anita.
I know you had your hand raised. Do you have a question?
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for your time thus far. And I just want to express, I know in the beginning it can be challenging on keeping track of your employees. And having a good CRM system is always important to not only keep track, but as well as reaching out and connecting with those clients. So if you have any recommendations for the people sitting in the room today and how to leverage that CRM system to, you know, enhance their relationship with their clients. Also, I am an agent with New York Life, so I am here to help you with your benefits if you need them, and much more.
I think I'll kind of help with that question too. So I'm going to kind of be a business person out there. I'm having trouble communicating with my employees or my clients. How can I make sure I'm communicating with them well? Is there, additional CRM resources, or how do you communicate with your clients and employees?
We use technology, right? We use Salesforce for our CRM. There's some other, depending on what stage you are in your business, that may not have a tremendous amount of cost, but we balance that into what we do on our projects. We communicate with our employees a number of different ways. We are remote, so we're all virtual. We have employees in different states. So a lot of what we do is virtual. We touch, we talk, we have huddles. We have a weekly meeting where we bring everyone together. And then we also use tools like Slack. We use Trello for our project management planning. We just make use of a lot of different tools to continue to communicate with everyone. We do a lot of phone and texting too.
We use HubSpot for our CRM. There's an app. You can obviously go online. It's pretty good. We like it. It's very similar to Salesforce. We have daily meetings for our team, so production meetings every morning. That usually helps out keeping everybody, in tune for that day, and then they're kind of on their own after that. Obviously, email and phone and text and everything else goes along with that. So.
I don't use the CR system per se for my business, but just based on people that I know that have used Salesforce and like being someone that works with Excel and spreadsheets and all that stuff, getting financial insights. So I would, pull the data and like do a pivot table, like being a nerd. Jump into the details and just like see what's working or what, like, for example, like if you post it on Instagram or something, like, there's insights on there. Like if you posted something, you notice you got a lot of engagement or people liked it, like you can kind of do follow-up calls or something with some of your clients. Like I do that with personal styling. Like, is there something that you liked? Is there something you didn't like? Is there something that you would like me to create that's a little bit more tailored, especially for you? Like kind of just get personal with them. I guess each client is different, so I guess you just have to approach it differently depending on who your client is. So that's what I would do. It's a number of things that you can do, but definitely using the insights that are available. And be a nerd. Just dig into it. There's nothing wrong with being a nerd. Just dig into the details and just see what you notice that is working. And if you see that's working, then run with it.
So with some of our clients, depending on what CRM they use, they'll train us. One client we work with, we've done things in their HubSpot, and that seems to be a really useful tool for their business. As a small business owner, a lot of times we can't afford the more like Salesforce or something like that. So I currently use HoneyBooks, is a platform that I use, and it's a great CRM. It helps with my contracts, my invoicing, and also to keep in touch, and also to set up like brochures, pamphlets to talk about my business, and also to do like some of the onboarding and kind of sharing with my client our hours, what days of week we work, just kind of giving them all of that information. So that's been really useful. And then a project management tool that I use for my business with our clients and also with my team is Basecamp. So with Basecamp, you can set up little portals for each individual client, and then I can share any directions and things about that client with my team. But the client can also have access to that portal and see where we're at in the process or what we're working on. So those have been two really great tools for me that I can think of.
I have an audience question. I know there's a hand up over here, and I also have 3 online questions. One was an email, so. First audience question, and then I'll jump on over to you. We own short-term rentals. We currently pay per cleaning. Ideally, we want to move to paying by the hour. What would you recommend for keeping track of time as they clean with not having a time clock for them to punch at arrival and out when they're finished cleaning? Also, what insurance would you recommend to small business owners and employees less than 2? So a system for timekeeping and then insurance recommendations for small business.
I would see if there's a way to categorize how long it takes to clean the actual houses and see if you can average it out. So, for example, if you have the same home, like, you know, they're currently charging you less than $100 a cleaning. Monetize that to hourly, and then say, okay, it took them 2 hours to clean it, an hour to clean it this time, you know, and try to see if you can just say, okay, 1.25 is the actual median, and see if you can categorize, okay, this house should be cleaned within an hour and 25 minutes on average, and then take your multiple on that and see if you can, you know, pay somebody $15 an hour or whatever the case may be, and then you can get, you know, gauge how much you can be spending on average for that house. I don't think it's legal. Maybe that's a good HR question, but it's just, you know, paying them by the, you know, paying an hourly person by you know, 1 hour, 25 minutes or whatever per house, and just call it a day. But that's a good.
I think I would have more.
Yeah.
I think I'd have more questions about why moving from a project or paying, you know, per house or whatever, to hourly. Why is the person wanting to do that? I think I'd have more questions before I could really answer that question thoroughly. And then there was another question too.
Recommendation for insurance for two or fewer employees.
Like workers' comp insurance, or what kind of insurance?
I'm not sure if that was like health insurance or if it was insurance for business purposes.
Yeah, I would say probably, you know, if you can talk about either, you know, if there's a workman's comp, you know, if that's available for 2 employees, or what options you'd have that you'd want to have insurance for your business of 2 employees.
So not my particular business. I mean, we're all virtually, so there's really nothing, you know, that type. But my husband does have a small business, and he got a small business insurance so that if, God forbid, he's out doing a job and he trips on a cord and gets hurt, or if we're out doing an event and a child comes up and the speaker happens to fall on them or something, we're covered. And also for, you know, because it is remote, not remote, but mobile, if we're going to another location, let's say we host an event here and he's here, that the business itself is covered and we're covered. So there is small business insurance for less than 2 employees, definitely.
Yeah, and it depends. I also have questions about that too. So if you do you have a payroll system currently that you're using? Many times whoever's processing your payroll will also offer workers' compensation insurance. If it's business insurance, you know, shop around just like you do for car insurance to find out what's best for you for your particular business.
I would make 2 quick recommendations. One regarding the pricing and the human cost of the work. I would recommend a cost per square foot. That's just an easier, I think, sometimes calculation. And then I would recommend matching or comparing that to industry standard for the industry. There are some great websites for the Cleaning Association. There's 1 or 2 that I'm thinking, but they're not coming to mind right away. I'll be happy to offline share those resources. But the cleaning associations can be a great resource to help with pricing. And they sometimes have pricing calculators that you can utilize to figure out how to price. And then you can factor that into your hourly rate. But that's the nerdy way, right? Take a deep dive into your numbers. The insurance varies. But let me preface, we're not an insurance agency. We will not be held liable for making this statement. Do not call Miles Enterprise Solutions about insurance.
I think that'll go for everyone else on the panel up here.
But
so
we are required by our clients to have general liability, property and casualty. We also carry, and this may not be indicative for them, but just in general for the question, errors and omissions, we carry cybersecurity insurance. So An insurance professional will be able to help you make the decisions about, even with a team of 2, what's needed. General liability, you do need to protect any environment that your team members go into, and workers' comp, quite naturally, that's always a factor.
Good. And I would encourage anyone here to hang out and get cards and things from folks afterwards if you've got other questions, and we can make sure that their information's all available for anyone watching online too.
Thank you so much. This is very informative. My name's Amy Hart, and I'm a photographer and creative media specialist. And I moved to Charlotte during the pandemic, did my master's degree, and now I'm relaunching my business. And the photography and things like that is fun and easy, relatively speaking, to the technology that it takes to run a business. And some of the obstacles that I've been running into are just the lack of human support for so many platforms. Like, several people have said they've left me Google reviews, but only 2 are showing up. Why? And who do I talk to? There are no humans at Google. Microsoft took weeks to integrate this email and that calendar and everything. So what do you do with the non-human technology world? What's the best solution for that? As a single business owner who can't spend endless amounts of time with the technology.
That's a great question, because I can sympathize with that. I spent many times on hours with YouTube, and same thing. I've had Google reviews and they haven't come in, but there's not a phone number you can call and actually speak to someone. So great question.
I was going to say, ask Anita.
I would see if you could, of course, look at your numbers and see if you can hire a virtual assistant.
But does anybody have a way of getting through to Google?
Well, I mean like a virtual assistant that can, okay, yeah.
Audience collaboration.
Yes.
Love it.
Travis Barnes, doing Most Way LLC. So I used to work in digital media. There is a number you can contact Google. It's super hidden, but you can actually, I'll come to you offline to actually help you find that number.
Yeah, tell everyone.
Yes, I'll tell everybody, because and I'll do some research over here, because I know, because the firm I used to work at, yeah, I will. Yes, ma'am. The firm I used to work at, we used to always have to call Google for our clients. Like, they'll ask about negative reviews, getting rid of. How does that happen? The issue that Google has is they have so many red flags for people trying to leave reviews. Like, they feel like it's spam, or if it's generated by too many of your friends. Like, you can't get too many reviews at a certain time, or Google will be like, none of these are real. When in actuality, they are. So I'll definitely help you out to find a number for you. Yes, ma'am. And anybody else who needs it. We'll give you a good review. Yes. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
You may never see it, but yeah.
Well, I was suggesting like a virtual assistant. Like you said, you didn't have, that kind of time to spend trying to dive into that. So like if you have a virtual assistant, your virtual assistant could, I need you to do these certain type of projects. Like I need you to help streamline, connect my emails all together and make sure the calendars are linked together and all that stuff. Like they can do that for you. Like if you, talk to different ones that you may be interested in hiring, you could, there could be one that you come across that specializes in that type of thing. And that would save you time and money.
I would hope so, but what I'm finding now is that everything's linked to, we'll send a code to your phone. So how do you outsource so many tasks where, you've got to have the code coming through your phone to get to the next step?
Okay, I'm gonna pass it on.
Okay, thank you. 'Cause I would love to have an assistant.
Yeah, I could definitely speak to that. When we're working with some of our clients, when we're trying to get access to their emails or certain things like that, it's communication. So we would say, hey, we're going to go ahead and try and log on. Please send me the code. And then we're sharing codes back and forth to get it up and running. Sometimes it takes a little bit of, patience, but once we get it going, it's good. I think it was a great suggestion, what she said. A lot of times things like that, you just don't have the time to do the research. I will say it is frustrating, even with HoneyBooks. I use HoneyBooks for my business. A lot of times you can't chat with someone live, and you're waiting for a response back, and it could be something that you need an answer quickly. I will say YouTube is amazing and Google is amazing. Usually you can put things in there and there's a tutorial video. I've done that a lot of times, to try and help some of our clients. So it's really just trying to utilize those tools. And unfortunately, it's the age and the world that we live in now that it's very rare that you're going to talk to a live person. The companies that do have live people, I just praise them so much. And I'm so grateful that I could talk to a live person. They can get me to the next step. So it's frustrating, and it's time consuming, right? Our hours are so limited to all the work that we need to get done. So when that happens, it is frustrating. But like she said, leveraging maybe a VA and just trying to maybe find a good YouTube video sometimes is helpful.
Okay, we're going to switch gears a little bit from one of our social media followers. I am a minority business. I hit major obstacles in grants and funding. How do I overcome this?
Great question.
We have an awesome organization in the room called the Women's Business Center that helps with access to capital. But there are a number of state and federal resources. The North Carolina Historically Underutilized Businesses, or NC Hub, we've performed consulting work for them with 3 of the Retool NC grants. There were 3 grants authorized by Governor Cooper to help small, diverse businesses during the pandemic. We supported them with the rounds of 2 of the 3 in providing technical assistance. The North Carolina Minority Business Development Agency is an agency that was stood up a little over a year ago, and they too are a resource for grant support and assistance. I'm going to give 2 more and I'll stop here. The Carolina Small Business Development Fund, you mentioned being a small, diverse business. They support smaller, diverse, minority-owned companies that are looking to get funding. Also the Institute of North Carolina would be another resource, and the Women's Business Center.
And to piggyback on that, the National Institute of Minority Economic Development is the 501c3 main organization that has different programs. And one of the programs of that organization is the Women's Business Center of Charlotte. We cover 12 counties. They also have the Women's Business Center in Durham Raleigh, in Greensboro, in Richmond. But the reason why I wanted to take the microphone is because I need you to please write this down. BeyondOpenCLT.com. BeyondOpenCLT.com. This is going to be a set of a second round of grants. Please go to the website because not everybody can qualify, but if you are in the zones of opportunity, the corridors of opportunity, and depending on the type of business that you have, they are providing grants from $5,000 to $20,000 for startups, from $20,000 to $100,000, and from $100,000 to $250,000, depending on what type of project you have. The one thing is that it's all for capital investment, capital assets. So it's not to pay for salaries, it's not to pay for insurance, it's for capital assets, equipment, tangible things. So learn, become familiar, because the round of grants here in Mecklenburg County, this is only for Mecklenburg County businesses, will come around May or June.
Yes, late spring.
Late spring. BeyondOpenCLT.com. Thank you.
And I'll also say that for small businesses, many times we don't have our paperwork in order. So get your paperwork in order. Just to be quite frank, have your numbers, know your numbers, as the panel has already talked about. You need to know that for many reasons, but when you're applying for grants or loans or any type of funding, you have to have those things available. And if you're trying to play catch up every month with getting those numbers together, then I would say try to hire somebody or work with someone, partner with someone who can help you on a monthly or every other month basis to have your numbers in order, so that when those opportunities become available, you can submit your paperwork early and you're not behind the curve. So a lot of times we'll go into banks or we'll approach people for funding and we don't have our paperwork in order, we don't know what our numbers are. It's really important to be on top of those things at all times so that you know how to what you qualify for and how to go after the different types of funding and partners that are available.
I have no idea how to work this. Yep, it's on. Test. Okay. My name is Jessica Foster. I work at United Way. I am a grant manager for Unite Charlotte. It is specifically for small, grassroots, BIPOC-led nonprofits. It's a 1 to 3 year program, $25,000 to $60,000, and the first year application is open to whomever applies. It's on the United Way website. It's the easiest grant application you're ever going to see in your life, and our goal is to help you be able to apply for other grants, and the funding is unrestricted. Again, Jessica Foster, United Way. It'll probably open, it's supposed to open into May, probably early June. United Way, Greater Charlotte, Unite Charlotte.
We got the right people in the room today.
Did you want to add opportunity?
I wanted to add to the grant out there beyond. Yes, I was actually one of the lucky ones who got it. Actually, I had get 2 grants from them. One of the things about the grant was, like you say, many people apply to do like payroll and stuff for that. Don't do that. And even if you don't have your numbers like your profits or your actives, so all the stuff, just submit your tax returns. Just with that, they will look at it, submit your tax returns instead of having a spreadsheet, and always be on the NC, like the NC state license. So I always have your license correct. Yep. Because that was actually one of the big points that was specified. Have your license, North Carolina state license, like be correct on that.
I'm going to maybe switch gears a little bit because I think this is a question a lot of small business owners may face. So we're our own boss. And sometimes a lot of us, we may wake up and we're like, do we want to work today? If we don't work today? So how do you tell us, for those who may be lacking some motivation or getting in those ruts, how do you keep yourself and your business and everything, staying motivated, keeping it going, energized? What are some things you do?
Always try to remember, like, you have to do what you don't want to do right now so you can do whatever you want later. Because I still have a corporate job, and then I have 3 businesses also. So I know that I won't be working in the corporate world forever. And some nights are going to be later than usual, but it won't always be like this. So I always have to keep the goal that I have in mind at bay. So, like, I don't feel like getting up right now. I don't feel like doing this, but like, well, you did that too many times, and now you missed the goal that you want to achieve. So I always try to keep that in mind, because there's many days when you're going to feel like that. And that's the days when you have to go even harder, like push yourself even harder. And you'll thank yourself later for it.
Yeah, find something you're passionate about. I mean, when you're working 80, 90 hours a week, it won't seem like that many hours if you're passionate about it. You can have a day job that's 40 hours a week and you may hate it, and it's going to seem like you're working 100 hours in that job. So try to find something you can stand behind and you like and you're passionate about, and working those long hours, those days that you don't want to work, won't seem so hard to get through.
I think for me, you definitely have those days where you're just like, ugh, I don't want to do this today. But I think on the other side, when you see the benefit of being your own boss and making your own hours, your own schedule, and not just that, the amount of income, that you can make is unlimited when you have your own business. And I also feel that, okay, maybe this week I'm putting tons of extra hours, in the evening to get projects done or whatever, but I'm doing that for my own business. It's not for a company or someone else. I'm doing it for me. So, sometimes that is the motivation, and like you said, also enjoy what you're doing. If you're doing a job that you hate, then maybe that's not the right business to be in, right? But really taking the time also for self-care. I mean, as business owners, we're handling a lot. And it's okay. If there's a day that you're just not feeling it, it's okay to take rest and go for walks. I think having good routines, that are consistent. If you're all over the board every day, then that's not good, and that just doesn't help you to feel good about your business as well. But I think I had to learn that in time. You know, in the beginning, you're so excited, you want to do it all, you want to, help everybody, and then little by little, you realize that may not be too healthy, because you're excited. But eventually, with time, having a good, consistent routine, taking the rest that you need to take, and getting up every day and being inspired that this is my baby, this is something I get to grow and take care of, is what has helped me, definitely.
I would say, like they've shared the panel, know your why. Why are you in business? What are you in business to achieve? And it could be a motivation, someone in your family, someone that you want to do something special for. But the day-to-day motivation for me starts with prayer and meditation. So I find that my days are more sound and secure if I start with just a meditative state of where I want the day to go or where I want the week to go or the month. I pray before making all major decisions in the company. It's a matter of where you're faith-based. We all have our practices that help us. So I look to those as resources. And then also prepare by reading, so that when I do have those moments of wondering what should I do next, I've got a number of different resources and partners who don't even know me because of YouTube. So I find those that I connect with that are doing other, and I'll be particular here, other women that are doing what we want to do, who speak to what we do. And that keeps the motivation going, because they could be larger companies, but I've watched what they do day to day, and that gives the motivation for me, and also sharing that with the team so that we're all moving forward in the same direction.
Got anything, Nikki?
I'll just echo everything that the rest of the panel has said. So we can always put things off when we have our own business. It can always wait until tomorrow. But what is the end goal? You need to take care of yourself. It's all of the things that they've just said. So I'll just say ditto.
We've got time for one more question.
I have two that maybe we could answer quickly. One, we may not be able to answer here. I am a 2-year business owner with expansive growth, and in 2023, I expect to make gross revenue of $1.5 million. I am not a legal citizen, but my employees are. How do I fix this? Who can I talk to? So I get that might be difficult for this panel to, an immigration attorney. Okay. Lively Law Firm is a good recommendation from the audience. Okay. So let me ask the other one. Perfect. I am a trans business owner. I just recently came out to my family and clients. Within a week, I lost half my business. How do I know? I do not know what to do. Help.
I think I can take that from a personal perspective. We are a minority woman, veteran-owned, LGBT-owned firm. We are selective about the clients. You have to align what you do should align with your client. Who you are should align with your client. If they cannot accept your authenticity, then they're not your client. That's someone I would like to call me directly, because I've experienced that multiple times, as I'm sure we all have in our unique ways, be it whether you're the only woman in the room or you're the only diverse African-American woman of color in the BIPOC community. You will continue to face that. It will not change. People are who they are. You continue to be who you are. Step proud, be forward about where you want to take your business, and give me a call. Let's talk.
I'd certainly agree with that. I share my openness with my clients, and I know that's sometimes tough to lose that amount of business, but there are that many more people and more out there wanting to do business with you. And I know that I've seen, obviously, the power of social media with some of these stories out there, and as much as you may not want to go publicly, but I think once people hear, they will come in droves. Just you hear some of the stories where people just want to support. So just a little advice there. Well, we have had a great conversation this last hour. Please give our panelists a warm round of applause and give yourself as well. One of the big things of our events here is just the collaboration, and today is just very evident of that, just the collaboration within the audience wanting to help each other. Before I have our executive director come up and kind of give some closing remarks, I want to share two things with you. On your table is a QR code while we have these last few minutes and we're closing out. Scan that. There's a survey. It's just a few questions. We want to get your feedback and everything. And if you're interested in being a part of our Lunch and Learn series, there's a opportunity for you to fill out some information there. And lastly, I want to let you know about our next Lunch and Learn event. This is going to take place on Wednesday, May 10th. Next month, second Wednesday, it'll be here in this building again, and we are going to be talking about the power of video marketing in a digital world. John Ficarado, who is here, he's actually going to be our speaker, so nice of him to be here today. He's the owner and creative director of Geo Digital Marketing. He's going to be sharing with you, again, if you've been looking, we know how powerful video is and just sharing your message. So he's going to share his thoughts with us. So please come and hear him speak on May 10th, 11:30 to 1. Chad, if you want to come on up, we'll let him give our closing remarks.
Hello, everybody. I want to thank Rocio from the Women's Business Center for being with us today, and United Way and individuals. One of the things that we forget, we think of old school chambers as being networking events, and we get together and we drink and we pass business cards out, but chambers should function as connectors and connecting you to organizations and people that you don't necessarily have access to in your normal daily business routine. The LGBT Chamber of Commerce may be one of the weirdest chambers in the area because we connect with so many different people, but 30% of our membership is straight ally. And if it were not for the Straight Ally membership, we wouldn't be as strong as we are. And so we're grateful for that, but we're also grateful for United Way and the Women's Business Center and the Black Chamber and the Asian Chamber and all the other groups that we partner with. On May 9th, mark it down on your calendars, we're holding our annual Pride in Business Expo and Career Fair, and we're being hosted at the Bank of America Stadium. The times for that are 11:30 until 4:30, and then there is an after-hours networking cocktail mixer at the stadium at 5 until 7, sorry. So it's on our website. If you want to exhibit or you want to partner or attend, go to the website. Also, there is a little caveat. Part of our raffles this year is we're giving away 2 really great tickets to the Beyonce concert for the Charlotte location. And so if you attend the expo, you get 1 entry. If you attend one of the workshops, you get an entry. You can attend all 4 of the workshops and get 4 entries. And if you join that day, you get 3 entries, or if you renew your membership that day, you also get 3 entries. There's other things that will roll out as we get closer, which will include speakers, workshops, as well as special guests. Justine Lindsay, which is the first trans NFL cheerleader across the nation, but she is the cheerleader for the Carolina Panthers, will be our MC for the day. We'll also have special music. There will be a bar, as well as snacks, things like that. But come out. We have some great exhibitors. This morning I was looking at the list. I think we had 6 roll in today. As far as exhibits, we're going to close that off as soon as we reach the cap, because we are capped because of the space we are in. If you want any information, speak to myself or Abby, and she will help you get on board with that. And now I'm going to bring up Melissa, who is our ambassador director, and also she'll share with you information about membership.
Thank you. You guys have been amazing today. Thank you so much for the information. And we will make sure that you know how to connect with everyone here for questions. I hope that you use their resources. And I hope we can do like a recap. Like, let's do this again. I think this was amazing. People just started getting warmed up with the questions. For anyone that is here and is not currently a member, we have some information over there on the side about membership and reasons that you should join. I would definitely encourage you, not just because we have this amazing event every month where you get lunch and you get this insight that you're not going to get everywhere else. We have monthly networking events in the evening that are a little less formal generally. We just had a comedy show last month, was our highlight. And so we have amazing things that go on. We are growing and doing more training. There are opportunities for your business to get support. There are opportunities for you as a professional to get all kinds of support. And we're always looking to grow based on the ideas that you share with us as well. So just make sure that you grab one of these cards if you're not already a member and you're not quite sure if it's for me. We are for you. We're definitely for you. So that's all I wanted to say. I hope you had a wonderful time. Make sure that you give us, fill out the survey with this QR code and anything else. And I think that's it. Thank you so much. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. We have our Google answer. Yes. We were all waiting with bated breath.
Okay. So there's 2 numbers. Get it out. You'll get your pen and paper out. I had to contact one of my old people back in my old firm. Was like, what was that number again? So it's 1-866-246-6453, and I have another number as well. 1-650-955-6653. One more. This is for Google Ads, but they will transfer you to the other department. I've done it many times. I've gotten very innovative. 1-866-246-65. 6453. No, that's the same one. But no, there you go. 1-800-419-0157. Say that last one again. The last one. 1-800-419-0157. And I work in the digital marketing space the most way. That's one piece of our small firm. So if you have any questions about digital marketing, digital services, my husband and I, we got you.
That's right. And that's it. Thank you so much for coming through. We'll see you next month.